Good evening, everyone. It's another Monday night, and it's another round of the CRA here at CRL. It is round 9, the penultimate round of what has been a fantastic season, and tonight we're here in Austin, Texas, the proud home of the USA Grand Prix for the last 8 years. And as always, I'm delighted to say I'm joined in the commentary box by Danny. Welcome along.
Hi mate, how are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you. Feeling a little bit sad that it's almost over.
It's been absolutely superb these last few weeks. Really enjoyed it. Very, very much enjoyed it. You're right. I'm sick. I just wanted to keep on going.
Yeah,
it's tasty though. It's going to finish well.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a fantastic season, and being so close to the end of the season, we can actually see both the drivers and constructors taken home today. There is some very, very long mathematics that needs to be done, something that my brain can't comprehend. But I believe that with certain circumstances, Warrior Huntsman can take home the drivers and AlphaTauri can take home the constructors.
It's thanks to Warrior, to be honest. The amount of points that he's accrued over the season has been pretty decent, to say the least. But just all we need, is it Super Gabu?
Super Gabu
just needs a big day for him.
Yeah, Gabu second in the table, 10 points behind Warrior currently, so still, as I said, can be won, but with just 52 points left, those 25 for the wins and the obviously fastest lap points. If the results go his way today, it'll be Warrior then that takes it, as you said. Joe Williams can still win. In fact, all the top 4 can still win the title if things go their way, but for some of those it's there. But then, as always, then here we go, the first time lap of the session. We'll jump on board the Williams of Ninja as he does the long old run up towards the top of turn 1. You can see the lovely gradient here as you come up. It's a blind left-hander, but you can see there just how tight that curb is, almost 170 degrees as you turn left, then through this maggots and Beckett's expired sequence of turns 3 through 7, coming for the sort of double right of 6 there, almost 2 apexes you have to hit as you flick left for 7, and then it's the old right left of 8 and 9 across turn 10 here on the left hand side as you come downhill in towards the second harsh braking zone of the lap, making sure you hit that not quite tight apex, but you're allowed to open your car wide then on the second long straight of this track, the first DRS zone. The light tends to play a little bit as you see the Ferris wheel on the left hand side, braking in about 100 to 50 meters for that very 90 degree-ish turn 12. Then up through the second sector, which I quite like. It's a very tight, twisty turns 13 through 14, and this 15 and 16 double left-hander. Then this is probably one of my most favourite sequences to drive on the calendar. It's turn 17 there. That curbs 18 on the right, running right on the left-hand side through 18. Then it's the double 90-degree lefts of 19. Don't run too wide or you will invalidate. But we come to the final corner, then turn 20. Make sure you get a nice clean exit on the outside. Very nice lap from Ninja. What's he going to be? It's a 1:35.1. So there we go. The first lap time of this penultimate round is set by the Williams of Ninja. And a very nice lap indeed in terms of driving. But it's also a very tricky circuit at the same time, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, start to finish really. There's very, very little margin for error. As we've just seen there, Ninja just show there in going back through that little section at the start. It's going to be tough to get it exactly right, so you might see a few invalidations potentially in the warm-ups, but it's more about points. Can you keep it consistent in the race? It's going to make a big difference today, I think.
Yeah, and in the meantime, while you were talking there, Danny, Camiliano, our pole sitter from last weekend or last week in Italy, I should say, a 1:31.3. So he's gone provisional pole already. 2 seconds faster than his close competitor. Warrior Huntsman crosses the line to go 4th. He's on the mediums though, so about 3 seconds difference there. Who's that going in there as well? Big Bowles gone 3rd on the mediums as well. Shadow Moody splitting the medium runners in P4. Some good early times there.
Too bad. Just watching Bangor Verde and go past the line. He's gone out in mediums. Up P9.
Yeah, as I said, it's that age-old debate. We have it every week almost. What do you do? 25% race is going to be a one-stop more than likely if everything goes to plan. But it's that soft medium thing. For example, if you're big bows, you're sitting in third. You're on the medium, so you've got a great track position. But it's more than likely that everyone below you is going to go out on softs and improve.
Yeah, it's likely, very likely. I know it's a gamble. We say it every week again. It can pay off or it can go sadly wrong. It's just that the odds are against.
Yeah, and Royal Viking then crosses the line. He's gone third. Had a very good race last week. Unfortunately, until the penultimate corner where he went straight on at Ascari into the wall. As Super Gabu goes second on 1:32.4, so within or just around a second slower than Camiliano. But we said at the top of the programme that Super Gabu is a big player in this title hunt, and he's gone second.
Certainly a good start to the qualifying. Obviously it's a short qualifying in it, so there's just all in one. Maybe a few are just setting the mediums just to get a little bit of a warm up with the track, I suppose, before they go to softs. But Super Gabu's gone straight for his softs, and he's clearly stick down a pretty impressive lap.
So we see there, like you said, as he goes a little bit wide to let the Ferrari through. Speaking of Ferraris, MEFC Harvey set a 1:45 in his first flying lap. I think he got caught out, like you said, by those trains, no room for error. But he's gone up to 7th now, 1:33.1, 12 seconds faster, puts him a reasonable time. He's split from his teammate by that Royal Viking time on the mediums then. It's interesting to see some of the drivers that have obviously come in later in the season as we look a little bit back now. We've had 8 complete rounds. This is our 9th round. And some of these drivers that have come in late or actually developed as well. Shadow Moody, one of those. You see his qualifying has been a lot better than what his race pace has been at times. But MEFC Harvey's the one I look at, his teammate, who's come into the league, started off a bit iffy, and then he's just pushed on. And he's, like I said, he's 4th in the table now, has an outside shot at the title, obviously, if everything goes his way. But he's shown exactly what this academy is all about.
Yeah, well, that's it, nail on the head, isn't it? That's exactly what this is for. You see races improving every week, and we said last week about drivers going through to the next round or already going up the tiers and improving and showing what they're worth in the leagues above. So as long as we keep that going in that theme, it's got nothing but a bright future ahead of the academy. Yeah,
one thing you just mentioned there, the promotions that we have got going on. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head if it works a similar way, but I know obviously in our main tier CRC 1 and 2 we've got the promotion relegation system, the bottom 3 and the top 3 switching places. I'm not quite sure whether it's the bottom 3 of the tier 2 come into the academy, but I certainly believe if that is the case, then the top 3 out of any of these would put in a good show.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I think there's some sort of first 5 or 6 really in most races have shown that they've got the ability to be up there and have, shown good enough race pace and qualifying, etc. I just think that you've got to do it every race. It can't just be one every now and again. But obviously the top 3-4 have certainly shown that they can do it week in, week out, which is they deserve the chance.
Yeah, so there we go then. In your eyes, just while we look at the first sort of flying laps of qualifying, Warrior Huntsman, I mentioned, can take the title. Do you think he'll seal it today, or do you think it will go to the final round next week?
It's an interesting question. I don't know. It's too hard to really judge. Certainly off the outlaps at the moment. Gabu's shown pace today. He's going to come out again shortly for another go. I'm not so sure. I think Gabu's going to have a good race today. Something tells me he's going to have a good round.
Yeah, it certainly does look like it's going to be, as they all have been really, a very good race. Obviously we're not sure yet whether there's going to be any rain, so if there's rain involved, it's certainly going to be fun, as we've got a McLaren spinning round, I think at turn 1, sorry, a little bit of argy-bargy to get track position. But yeah, so just go back, I was saying, if there was any rain, it's certainly going to provide a bit more anticipation for the drivers in terms of you've got to be careful.
You've got to be aware of your surroundings today. You could be sort of 4 or 5 cars wide going at that first corner if you're all trying to jockey for position. It's a wide turn, so they've got to respect each other out on the track, or it could be an early finish for their race. And you've got to sometimes concede that little bit of position on the track just to make sure that you're still in the race.
Yeah, that, as I said, you mentioned that turn one. That is a key corner here at the circuit, both during the race itself and also just in qualifying, for example. But it comes back to that age-old cliche, doesn't it? You can't win the race on the first lap. So if you get a good start off the line, you can sometimes be hindered by the cars in front of you, and you might try, as it goes even faster, sorry, in the meantime. 1:31.1, almost in the 1:30s there. But yeah, like this, you can see here on board with Camiliano just how sharp the apex and the braking zone is. And you mentioned there, getting through it on lap 1 is going to be quite crucial for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, I think this is the part here. 3, 4, 5. Can you keep as much speed as possible going through those corners? If so, you've got a good chance of putting down a really strong lap. But that's where in the race you see a lot of people, certainly if they're side by side, it's very, very difficult. It's only a single car for me. You've got to be in single file for that. It's just too difficult to keep pace.
Yeah, as we jump on board then with Matt Warner in the McLaren. He got his first points, I believe, last week in Italy. Finishing in 9th place. It's a good week for McLaren. They've had a few off weeks, both him and Slade. Incidents here or there, as we see Viking jump up to 2nd, there. But the McLaren's double points finished last week, so certainly building on their season.
Yeah, good.
As he comes through turns 9 and 10, his car looks a little bit unstable on the rear. Does the McLaren of Matt, as we see the new liveries that the game have brought out to match real life. Lovely little touch from Codemasters there. What DRS zone do you think is more important for overtaking? This back one here on a run down towards turn 12, or the one up the hill and towards turn 1?
Yeah, I think turn 12. You've got it's a 1 kilometre straight, isn't it, from turn 11?
It's around that, yeah. It's a 5.5 kilometre circuit. So obviously, predominantly that is the 2 straights.
Yeah, yeah, such a unbelievably long straight. I think if you get the right launch off that, considering it's such a slow corner as well, that'll make a big difference. If you get the right launch going up that straight, you've got all the time in the world to get past anyone in front of you, really.
Yeah, speaking of launches as well, you need a good exit out of this corner. Don't want to go too wide on those curbs, or you will spin into that wall more than 9 times out of 10. And Matt goes into P10. As we see, Capawanda, Gabu and Viking all still changing places at that top of the pack. Still can't catch Camiliano though, but they are all in the 1:31s. So we're seeing those times go down with just 5 minutes left in the penultimate qualifying round of the season. Not so good for the championship leader so far. He's down in 14th, is Warrior Huntsman.
Yeah, he's just on his outlap at the moment. He's that's definitely not going to be as fast as he wanted. Did he come out in mediums for the first set there?
Yeah, I think I'll just double check on the old best. Yeah, so his best lap so far is a 1:34.0. That was set on the mediums. So the only other drivers with medium times are the 12th place Haas of Big Bows and the 17th place Racing Point of Van Gogh Verden. So pretty much everyone going for that soft medium strategy then that we were on about at the start of qualifying.
Looks to be the one to be on.
Yeah, certainly. Again, I said it last week, it's especially with a place like Circuit of America, the tyre wear does get a bit too much for some, or as he runs very, very wide through turns 4 and 5 there, does Warrior Huntsman. But as I was saying, it's one of those circuits that it's 5.5 kilometres long per lap, and at 25% race I think you're looking at about 13, 14 laps. So you're doing quite a fair distance, over about 60 kilometres I think it is, and the tyre wear does get quite hard on your softer compounds, and then you can switch over to the mediums very early on if there is an early safety car, or your tyres just go.
It's all about if you can keep the right strategy on this. You don't want to be going through tyres though. I mean, if you had to be stuck putting them on the hards, I think you'd struggle.
Yeah.
But soft medium definitely is going to get you around nicely.
Definitely, as I said, and as you say that, he comes through sector 2 then. Oh no, he's lost it. I was just about to say he's gone purple in sector 2, but you can see the AlphaTauri there pirouetting as he comes round turn 16. He has completely lost his momentum from that lap. It was a purple sector 2, 5 temps up on his previous best. He will have to go again. You can see him diving into the pits then for a fresh set of softs. We've got Assault.
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, we've got Assault King back out on another out lap. The Haas as well coming out on the softs. So like you were saying just a little bit earlier, it is those other drivers now starting to come out on fresh sets.
Yeah, I was just going to say I was just following MUFC Harvey. He stayed out for he took 3 laps. This is his 4th lap, I believe, on the soft. So he's gone for more fuel and gone for a few laps to get under his belt. Did he jump to 9 now, or is he still in 9? I think he's still in 9. But he's gone for an extra one.
Yeah, he stayed in 9th, but like you just mentioned there, he's gone for that. He's gone for that thing where you go for more laps on the tyres rather than just one flying lap. I think you can get 2 with ERS at 100%, roughly. But it does mean, though, like you say, you have to take that little compromise of you won't have the tyre life on the first stint compared to everybody else. But I've found in the past as well that by doing that, running 2 or 3 laps, you do indeed get a little bit more of the tyres because they're up to full racing temperature from a flying lap, and you can usually gain about 2 or 3 tenths in the right areas.
Yeah, it's fair.
So we've got a couple of drivers then out on their laps. We've got just under a lap of this circuit left, 1 minute 22 seconds as it stands. Oh, it's Camiliano on pole. As you see, Royal Viking's rear end stepping out as he puts his foot down, coming out of turn 11. That will have cost him a few tenths probably. Needs to find 4 tenths to get in line with Camiliano, so he needs to probably find 6 tenths now, in and including what he had gained in the first sector. All else, we got yellow flags out as the cars vie for position. It's the last minute of this session.
Murphy's just gone over the line. He didn't improve, but he was very, very close. That's I think he'll be coming in, so I don't think he'll be improving from now.
Yeah, so that is him down in 7th, a 132.579. Fish had moved the car behind him, a 132.566. As the car's gone very, very wide. That is Big Ben we're on board with there. Super Gabu in the pit lane, probably won't come out. He's down in 3rd. Royal Viking crosses the line. He lost time, as I said, so he can't seemingly improve unless he's got enough fuel. We shall see. Camiliano is still on an outlap. He's just about to start his 131.1.
Warrior Huntsman's just coming over the line now. Start flying lap, I believe. Is he?
No, he's got 9 seconds.
Oh, he's coming up the last corner.
He's got 9 seconds to find it. 5 seconds left then, as Big Bowles goes up into 4th place, and he gets across the line with 2 seconds to spare. Does Huntsman, but he needs a good lap here then. Salt King crosses the line in 16th. Not been the best qualifying session for him, but he finished in the points last week in Italy. Looking to repeat that last week. 8th place for him. Jar Williams goes up into 2nd place, a 131.5. So he jumps the Alfa Romeo of Royal Viking. But all eyes on Camiliano then. 131.1 is his current time. Capuano crosses the line, stays in 6th. Murphy drops down to 8th place. That is his session done. But here we go then, another driver looking out for as he comes round turn 11. Warrior Huntsman in the Alpha Tauri, the championship leader. Using DRS, will he get a bit of a tow from the car in front of him? That is the Racing Point of Van Goverden. We shall see though. The session is over. The checkered flag has come down, but a few drivers still on those laps and coming through turn 17 and 18 now is the Renault of Camiliano. He comes around the pin. Oh, Royal Viking goes fastest. I said, did he have enough fuel? He did indeed. It's a 130.7. Camiliano comes around the final corner then, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. He's at 130.6. It is indeed enough. 500ths faster than the Alfa Romeo. There's only one driver left though that I think can improve, and that is Warrior Huntsman. Van Goverden boxes after his session is complete. Round the final corner then.
Got a chance to improve it.
It's only P7 for the Alpha Tauri driver. He has got a lot of work to do in the race, but I think that is pole position then for the 2nd successive week for the Renault of Camiliano. Royal Viking in 2nd, Joe Williams 3rd, Gabu in 4th, Big Bowers in 5th, and the 2 Alpha Tauri 6 and 7. Big Ben is in 8th for Red Bull, Murphy 9th, and Shadow Moody, the driver, in 10th.
Yeah, very good towards the end. We've seen, 2 or 3 unbelievable times coming in just at the very end. Jar Williams, after he was winner last week, so he's done well for himself again, put himself in the top 3.
Yeah, certainly within a hunting chance of victory today. You need to be in and around it to take those 25 points, and he's certainly around it as it stands. MUFC Harvey, I think, will be a little bit disappointed though, down in 11th place. But as we've said a few times already, it's not the easiest track to get to grips with.
Yeah, I think Vegas as well. I think he's 5th in the championships, so he would have expected to be a bit higher up today too.
Yeah, he needs a tall order to finish any higher than 5th. He's currently 23 points behind Harvey in 5th, but obviously 52 points left available, so he needs a big performance. Can't win the title, can Vegas, but can certainly finish within that top 3 if results go his way. But here it is, the penultimate session of the CRA is done, and just look at that gap. 0.044 seconds separates Camiliano in the Renault and Royal Viking in 2nd. It's a 2nd successive pole for Camiliano then, as Jar Williams, race winner last week, almost a 2nd back in 3rd place. Certainly an exciting session.
2 of them have got quite an extraordinary bit of pace compared to the rest. It could be interesting if that translates in the race.
Yeah, as you mentioned there, it's certainly promises much. So here we go then. The penultimate race is about to get started. Championship leader Warrior Huntsman only manages a P7. Super Gabu, his closest challenger, up in 4th. But it is Camiliano in the Renault who takes his 2nd pole in 2 weeks to lead these drivers away for the formation lap. So what sort of lap do you reckon then they're going to be looking to pit? It's that one stop is the preferred strategy for many drivers, but I think it's going to be early.
Well, we'll have to just see what comes of that. But I think they'll all try it. I think they'll all probably go for a one stop. I would imagine that they will, considering the type of track it is. But it depends what happens with the tyres. If there's any complications early doors, there's a lot of variables that come into the strategy in this race, I think.
Yeah, one of those variables is obviously this turn 1. You might not have the greatest of starts, but if you can get a clear turn 1, you're sometimes going to be able to jump a lot of positions, because like you say, all it takes is one slight slip on the brakes, or your tyres and brakes not up to temperature from this formation lap, and your race could be almost ruined.
Yeah, hopefully. Oh no.
Oh, automatically the 2 McLarens there colliding with each other off the line. Watch out for them in turn 1.
There's going to be some chat after today's debrief after today is going to be quite in depth for them too.
I was going to say Zach Brown and Andreas Seidel will not be happy with those 2 drivers. I think Racing Slade, by the looks of things, might have got off a little bit too fast and pronto, gone into the back of his teammate, and they are now sat on those grid while those tyres go cold. As you can see, the cars weaving from left to right and right to left, and then left to right again to get those soft tyres up to temperature. It's soft on, I think, most of the top 10. I don't think anyone set that lap time on the mediums, and as we see there, even the other drivers on outside the top 10 all opting for softs, except Crash down in 15th place. He takes the medium option then, so he needs a good start, and needs to avoid an early safety car.
Yeah, why not? Why not gamble? If the qualifying's not gone his way the way that he would have liked, take a risk. Why not?
So here we go then. Camiliano comes around the first corner, the final corner, sorry. But all you have to do is just look at the mini-map though. And this is the perils of the formation lap. If you're at the front and you go too fast, the field becomes very spread out. And you'll be sat on the line. I think Camiliano's already at the start-finish line. And Van Goverden's only just come around turn 19. But he's almost there now. And we await the lights for the penultimate time this season. You can see the back markers there. I shouldn't call them back markers because they haven't started yet, but the back of the grid lining into their slot. So are you ready for this race then, Danny?
Not half.
Not half. That's what we like to see. Well, here we go then.
Good one. Be a good one.
All eyes on those red lights. Camiliano sitting on the front row. We see them there. They're 4, they're 5. The red lights are out, and we are racing here at the Circuit of the Americas. A lot of wheel spin from the front runners. It's a massive launch from Big Ben there in the Red Bull, and it looks like a Royal Viking, sorry, is going down the inside into turn 1, and he takes the lead of this race. But already you can see the carbon fibre in the background. Camiliano's back down the inside of turn 3 and retakes the lead as we come through turns 5, 6, 7, and there's a couple of drivers moving there and thereabouts, but I think they've all made it through without spinning. But there was a bit of carbon fibre going everywhere.
Yeah, it was the two. I believe it was the two Red Bulls that came together around the first corner. I didn't see it exactly, but just saw a lot of debris. I believe it was them two that made contact just as they were going down the corner. There was another car in the mix as well, but there's so many changes in positions. Yeah,
not a good start for the McLarens. We said they had a DSQ in their tyres, and that they're down in 16th and 18th now. So a 4-place drop from both of them as it stands. But Camiliano retains the lead, and he's almost pulled out a second. In fact, he has now pulled out a second on Royal Viking behind him. So he's looking to get his foot down very early on. Joe Williams has stayed in 3 to keep the top 3 as they are now. But Big Bows has got Capawanda behind him now. He's made the jump up. Warrior Huntsman has dropped a position. Here you go then, following him through turn 17. It's Harvey. What a great start from the Ferrari driver. He was down in 11th, remember. He's made his way up into 7th as Murphy makes a move on Super Gabu. Super Gabu, I think, with that wing damage, we shall see. It's Vegas going down the inside, and there we go. Indeed, Super Gabu does make a pit stop. It's also Warrior Huntsman in, so the championship leader has to make an early pit stop as well.
Wow, that's just made it interesting, them trying to get through the pack.
Yeah, not the greatest of overtake places unless you're outside, you're alongside them, sorry, coming out of turn 11 and turn 20 into the pit straight. But as DRS is enabled, then it's Camiliano who leads Royal Viking, but that gap now under a second. Oh, as Harvey gets the first time penalty. That is another thing that you'll see quite common here in America. Usually it's that Maggots Beckett sections at turn 1. So here we go then, DRS open for the first time then, as Big Bows is close to Joe Williams, but a great run off the corner there from the Williams car sees him maintain that final podium position. We've got yellow flags out then. That looks like it's Van Goverden, and it is indeed Van Goverden. Has he kept that nose clean? No, he has not. He's missing that bit of front left as Crash Gaming comes around the outside, but not this time. He's just a little bit too far back. Lap 2 of 14, and it's still the pole sitter, Camiliano, who is on pole. I have just noticed though that it said DRS has been enabled. It's only lap 2. Not quite sure what's gone on there.
Goodies.
There we go. As DRS is enabled for the second time in this race, but this time it is officially open. So jumped the gun a little bit there, but we can see gaps now between this top 7, all starting to spread out. A couple of second gaps here or there. No real DRS train.
Murphy's just gone in for a little dive on his partner, but he's held it well. Sorry, Vegas was going in on Murphy, trying to make a pass on the first straight, but he didn't.
Yeah, as the two McLarens as well go side by side coming out of turn 1. Racing Slade getting the move done around the outside of turn 2. Big Bows given a 3-second penalty as well. But here we go then. Royal Viking will have DRS for the first time in this 14 lap race. But it's a great exit from the Renault driver as the rear end steps out of the Alfa Romeo. Here we go then, a very, very wide line though from Camiliano, seemingly pushing the track limits a little bit too far, but he stays in front, which is important for him. These two have pulled away from Jar Williams, who's pulled away from Big Balls, as Harvey and Big Ben go side by side into turn 11, and the Ferrari man gets the move done.
Nice. Nice move. Tolkien has made a pass on Vegas, and is now right on the back end of Murphy again, moving to 8.
Yeah, he's split the Mercedes there, and he's not making a look down though into turn 16 yet. Possibly through 17. This is a lovely move. You can get this done here. You have to pick inside or outside, but with the speed, you can get any nice move done. We got yellow flags in sector 3. That's a McLaren that's gone round. That is Matt Warner then. So he has gone round, kept his front wing intact, but those tyres will be red hot, and it's side by side at the front of this Grand Prix as Royal Viking look to go round the outside of turn 2, but not this time. DRS bringing him onto the gearbox of the Renault through the pit straight, but he's managed to keep it untouched. Here we go then as we come through turns 9 and 10. Is he going to get a move coming out of turn 11?
There was a wide corner by Assault King, and Vegas went back past, so there's a bit of wrestling in the middle of the pack, but other than that there's a little bit more of a spread.
Yeah, always very, very wide from Big Bowles in the background
mistake.
there.
Yep.
Yeah, so I saw that as I was on camera shot for Royal Viking. It was a very, very wide line into turn 11. That braking zone catching him out seemingly, but Royal Viking just doesn't get the exit he needs to use that DRS and momentum past Camiliano. But he's within touching distance, so that's all you need to do. Just force that mistake, and you never know what will happen. Oh, but the rear end steps out big time through turn 16. He's lost about 4 tenths, and more crucially, he's outside of the DRS zone now.
Mistake might have cost him, but it's a good catch. It could have been worse.
Yeah, Capawanda doing a good job for AlphaTauri up into 5th place, but as it stands, the title will go to the final round of the season. Both Huntsman and Gabu outside of the points, 14th and 16th respectively. Royal Viking not close enough to make a move on the title, nor is Camiliano, but Capawanda then, the first of the lead runners into the pit stops, looking to do about 10 laps on that yellow walled medium compound. Who will blink next? Will it be one of the top podium runners? We shall see. So we're talking about Camiliano and Royal Viking fighting for that lead, but Joe Williams doing a good job to keep within that sort of 2-second barrier. Any mistakes, and he's sort of going to be there to pounce. Here comes the Haas of Big Bowles. But again, you can just see how much of the difference a good exit makes for these F1 cars in this DRS zone, because Big Bowles will catch him, but he won't make it in time to look at having a move into turn 12.
Not this time. As you say, he just needs to buy his time though. Don't do anything silly. If you're not catching, just try and stay behind. Be happy to stay behind a driver. If he's got the pace that you would like to go as quick as you can go, then it doesn't have to be anything stupid. And then just pick your moments. Like you say, a lot of circuits have those sort of overtaking zones that are common, or you can have an opportunity if a driver makes a mistake or things like that. But in America, in particular, you've got the large 2 DRS zones where you can use DRS, get past, and without any risk really. Yeah, the two been 2 more pits. Big Ben, Jar Williams has gone in now. Yeah, I can see that. Down from P3 then into P5 as he makes his first stuff. Not quite sure how strong the undercut is here though, but he'll be hoping that it works in his favour, as Royal Viking is starting to drop back quite drastically now from the Renault of Camiliano. He's down to 1.6 seconds behind the pole sitter, and Big Bowles takes that 3rd place as we start to see the field into the pits. Only a few runners left on the softer compound. Matt, the only one outside the top 6 or 7 even on those softs. That spin earlier on lap 4 or 5, I think, has given him a bit of a task to do, as Joe Williams already passed Racing Slade, then dispatching of some of the traffic through the tight and twisty sector 7 to 9.
So we're almost at the halfway stage of this round 9, and it's Camiliano that leads by 2.2 seconds now. So I think that the tyres are starting to wear.
Possibly so. Jar Williams has got he's got a good looking race. He's just going to take over. Is he going to make the pass? Yeah, he's done it. He's held the inside of 12. Yeah, nice. He's just made the pass now in 6th position. Fresh mediums. Inevitably, as long as he stays where he is, he naturally would pass the field to go into first. Yeah,
so he is up into 6th place. He's got about 15 or 16 second gap to the podium as it stands now. Just under 20 seconds between him and the leaders as Camiliano is in the box, and the race leader pits on lap 7, looking to do the half and half. Harvey inherits the lead then, but he's obviously still yet to pit. Royal Viking also comes into the box, as does the other podium runner of Big Balls. And where is Jar Williams? There is Jar Williams. The undercut not working in his favour though, as he's going to do the old switchback on the Haas driver, who's got the better exit. It looks like he has on the outside of turn 2. Can they keep it clean as they go through 3, 4 and 5? Oh, and they almost touch. And he's given a 3-second time penalty for that avoidance. Not what he would have wanted then by pitting a lap earlier. He stays in 6th place for that sector, but he's actually dropped a position to Big Bows then.
Yeah, we'll see whether or not it was, you know, he had to do it to avoid an error. He might have a case if he did, or if it was his own doing, you know, in terms of getting the penalty removed. We'll see.
Yeah, it is very frustrating as a driver if time penalties like that do hamper your finishing position. Sometimes there's a lot you can do, sometimes there's not, but that's just the way these in-game stewards work. But there we go then. So Camiliano Viking have pitted. They fitted the yellow walled mediums. They are 3rd and 4th, but they will inherit the lead once the top 2 pit. Big Balls is the winner there then from that. Oh, as Warrior Huntsman gets a 3-second time penalty. The Haas is the big winner, jumping up into 3rd after the what seems to be the one and only pit stop, but he's going to have a tough job keeping the Williams behind him. That gap under a second, so DRS will come into play, you would imagine.
Yeah, MFC Harvey in the pits now, so Vegas will go back top. He's obviously got Camiliano now closing quite sharply, I would imagine, as those softs are probably starting to work quite thin.
Yeah, that gap at the front, as you just mentioned there, is around a second. Vegas on those 7-lap old softs. Camiliano on fresh mediums. It should be an easy job, you would imagine, but it is still for position, however you look at it. So Vegas has no sort of need to let him past easily.
No. Matt Warner's just going to the pits as well, so there's a few past him. Murphy, he was up there, wasn't he, in qualifying?
Yeah, in the top 10.
Yeah, he's had a little bit of a drop. I think that was in the first lap as well, so he's coming to problems again. Crash, he's developed a few laps, although he's gone 7 laps on those mediums.
Yeah, so he will need to come in for those softs, remember, as we saw Camiliano there taking a quite easy first place off the hands of Vegas, but he'll be hoping now that Royal Viking gets stuck behind the Mercedes and allows himself to pull a bit of a gap on the Alfa Romeo. Big Bows has dropped off by about 3.5 seconds now, but he is as well under pressure from Jar Williams. So here we go then. Is Vegas going to dive into the pits? Yes, indeed he does. That will give the Alfa Romeo DRS. How close will he be? We shall see. We've got just over 5 laps to go in this Grand Prix.
Just seen Warrior Huntsman, he's just made a little bit of a slip of his tyres on the turn 17, and he's got a 3-second time penalty that as well. They're only six laps into the mediums, but seems to be having a few problems here and there.
Yeah, a few time penalties being dished out there, and we said that it's sometimes hard to keep track of them, so we won't know till the end just how much there, but I think that's 6 seconds now for Warrior Huntsman, and that would drop him to 10th place, I believe. The big news for him though is that Super Gabu is in 11th, so he's outside, and even better than that, sorry, not better than that, alongside that, Camiliano now gets himself a 3-second time penalty. So he is in first, but he has a 3-second time penalty. I'm not sure whether Royal Viking does though. Here we go then, that gap 1.2 seconds as they come down in towards turn 12. And the Renault still leads the fight between, I think there's Capo Wanda now all over the back of 4th place, looking to improve on what was an okay qualifying for Wanda. He was in 6th, I believe, now in 5th place. So AlphaTauri still with a potential double points finish here. I think the only driver left to stop now as well is Crash Gaming, down in 15th or 16th he was. No, he's in 12th. But yeah, he's the only driver yet to stop. So it should be a plain run between here and the finish line.
Just checking the incidents there. Royal Viking has got a 3-second. Ja Williams has got a 3-second. Big Balls also. Salt King. So there's a few Warrior Huntsmen.
Capo Wanda loses it a little bit coming out of turn 1. He was on the curbs as he tried to put his foot down, but he's kept it in a straight line. But he has lost a bit of time to the car in front. MUFC Harvey then, as Royal Viking gets another 3-second time penalty. He's in 2nd as it stands, but that surely will change when they cross the line. As Crash Gaming finally completes the first round of pit stops, then down in 16th. Capo Wanda gets a 3-second time penalty. Looking at it now though, MUFC Harvey has had an absolute storm through the field. Started 11th, he's up in 6th place.
Yep, travelled well. I think he's just capitalised on a few errors that have happened above him. Just kept it on the track. It's good.
Yeah, he said. He's currently 4th in the championship is Harvey. Ja Williams 13 points ahead of him, will move further ahead of him if things stayed the way they are. But as it stands, it's Camiliano that will take home the 25 points for the victory. I think Royal Viking still holds that fastest lap, but we've got 3 laps to go and anything can happen in those 3 laps.
Yeah, also Super Gabu at the moment, he could really do with trying to push to get inside, at least get some points on the board today, because it would mean that in the final race Warrior Huntsman would have a few more points in him and just make it that little bit harder.
Yeah, so live championship stands then. Warrior Huntsman with that 8th place would move on to 104, but Gabu would stay on 90. So the gap with just 26 points available for maximum would be 14. So it would be a 2nd place, a podium would be needed by Gabu to stand any chance next week.
Yeah.
So you're going, Camiliano in the meantime has taken the fastest lap, a 1:33.8. Means he has got 26 as it stands. Would have been good to see Camiliano, I think, from the start. He jumped in a little bit later on in the season than a lot of these drivers, but he's got 2 poles, he's got a victory, and some very, very high standard performances. Yeah,
he's had the fastest lap, he's had poles, as you say. He's shown right from the off that he means business. He's come in and got his victories. I think he's definitely proved that he can mix with the best in the league. So, be interesting, as you say, if he'd have been at the start of the season, I think he would have been a major contender.
Yeah, so 0.9 seconds. So that gap varies, I think, as it goes lap by lap. But it seems like Camiliano is got enough in reserve. Big Bowers and Ja Williams then 3rd and 4th as it stands. A little bit isolated at the moment as we go on to lap 12 of 14. This race has absolutely flown by. We've had, quite luckily, and very rarely this season, we've had no incidents. A couple of spins, yes, but no safety cars and no VSCs.
Yeah, considering the type of track it is as well, I think that's a bit of praise to the drivers for that, for staying out of the way of each other and being respectful, as I said before the race. It's important because if you're too greedy, you can take not you, or not even the car that you're battling, but multiple cars out of the race in the sake of the first few corners. So, fair play to them. From the safety car.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that as well. You said there that it's a big credit to the drivers for being cautious and staying sort of within sensibility, because that is again what we want here at CRA. We're looking to develop these drivers as league racers. Some of them have not raced in years, some of them haven't even raced ever, others are just learning new assists or becoming a wheel racer instead of a pad racer, but it's a credit to them, as you said there. But here we go then. You can see we're on board with Royal Viking in the Alfa Romeo. He's all over the gearbox now of Camiliano, but I think Royal Viking has that extra 3-second time penalty hanging over his shoulder as we're about to start the penultimate lap in the penultimate race of Season 2 here at CRA. It's the Renault of Camiliano that leads the Alfa Romeo of Royal Viking. These two were at it last week in Italy. They're at it again this week in Texas. And here we go then. DRS isn't going to have enough to pull him up. Is he going to make a move? No, he's not. He's looking to get a good exit and go, maybe force a mistake through this tight and twisty first sector. As we look on the left hand side of your screens there, you can see with the timings that the drivers on track have started to space themselves out a bit. No real close battles on track apart from this one. Racing Clay though seems to be all over the back of a Salt King as they're coming through turn 17 and 18 now. The McLaren driver looking to get a move done. Is he going to be close enough in the DRS? The Alfa Romeo runs very, very wide as they come through the final corner. They both run a little bit wide on the curb. Means you can't put your foot down as much as you want to, but look at that. The gap is closing, but I think again, just like we saw with the leaders, it's not enough. As always, that Royal Viking making a move. We went down there, and Royal Viking in the DRS zone on the penultimate lap of the race takes the lead, but Camiliano's looking to go around the outside of turn 13. Not this time. Here we go then through the final few corners of Sector 2, and it is Royal Viking that now takes the lead of this race. Will the dirty air affect that Renault? Not a great race for Warrior Huntsman then. He's picked up another 3-second time penalty. I think that's 12 seconds now for the championship leader. As we start the final lap of the race then, Danny, here it is. Camiliano versus Royal Viking. It's 0.5 of a second the gap now, but DRS opens for the Renault. He's going to look into turn 1. He's going to be too far back though and stays in second. But if he can get a good run through this sequence of corners, he might be able to win on track. Here we go then through turns 7 to 9. It is the Alfa Romeo that still leads 0.5 of a second that gap. Waiting for the DRS, and that's probably going to be the best chance he's got between now and the end of the race to pick up that victory. Here we go then, on board with Camiliano. DRS opens then for the final time on this section of track. He's getting ever closer, ever closer, ever closer. He pulls to the left to make a move. Who's going to be latest on the brakes? Is the Renault car? Can he get it closed down? Yes, he can, but the Alfa Romeo looks at the switchback. Not this time. The Renault takes the lead on the final lap of the race.
Superb driving from the pair of them though still.
Here they go then, keep it nice and clean, lads. Big Bowles in the meantime has got that gap down to within 3 seconds, so I'm not sure of time penalties for the front two, but Big Bowles could be in with a chance here if time penalties do indeed decide this race. But we're coming through turn 19 now, and turn 20 then sees the Renault of Camiliano come out on top here at the Circuit of the Americas. We hold on as we see time penalties. Big Bowles comes across the line and stays third, so it looks like Camiliano will stay in first place. Joe Williams stays fourth. Capawanda fifth.
Wow.
Harvey sixth. What about Big Ben? He comes across the line. It's 7th place for now. Warrior Huntsman crosses the line in 8th, but I think he's got quite a few time penalties, so we wait to see. Vegas in the points last week, I think, in 6th place. He comes across the line. This time he's in 9th, but he drops to 10th place then as the time penalties sort themselves out. Shadow Moody goes into 8th. It's a 10th place for Super Gabu as well, so the title challenge does indeed go through into next week. Super Gabu moves on to 91. Warrior Huntsman moves on to 102, so that gap is going to be there. Unfortunately, the Mercedes just outside the points in 11th and 12th. And it's side by side for Racing Slade and the Salt King across the line. The McLaren takes the spoils this time as we wait for a few more drivers to come across the line. Then Ninja, a bit of a quiet race from him. Crush couldn't make the alternate strategy work for him. He comes across the line in 16th. Matt Warner with that early spin will be 17th. And Van Goverden in the Racing Point crosses the line in 18th. I think that's how they'll finish. And yes, indeed, he looks like he stayed 18th. But there we have it. The Alfa Romeo did not manage to catch the Renault. So Camiliano does indeed finish ahead of Royal Viking, and it is a superb pole position for Big Bowles.
Absolutely brilliant. Big Bowles deserves that. He worked hard at the end to get that position and get himself on the podium. The front two were unbelievably impressive in the qualifying, and showed in the race as well that they had the pace on the day. They deserve the 1-2. Well done, Camiliano, again showing what he's all about. It's unbelievable to make that pass again on the final lap to go and win it.
Yeah, DRS is a big positive here in Circuit of the Americas if you are the car behind, because it's got such an influence on those two straights, both the back one between 11 and 12 and the pit straight. Camiliano also takes the fastest lap of 1:33.8, the only driver in the 1:33s then. That's an extra point for him, 26 his total for today. But you can see on the right there just how influential time penalties were, and Super Gabu, keeping it nice and clean, keeps himself in the top 10.
Yeah, gets himself a point in the end. That definitely, the whole of tonight wasn't his race, and certainly not the way that he would have wanted things to go. Certainly for being fourth on the grid. Warrior Huntsman the same, really. I mean, he's climbed a couple, but he probably would have wanted a lot more from tonight.
One thing I will say is I'm not quite sure of the maths itself, but I think Alpha Tauri might be a few points shy of taking home that Constructors. Not a great big haul for them today. They got a couple for 5th place from Capawanda, and obviously the Warrior Huntsman finishing in, I think it was 8th place. But both titles will be decided next week. Would you say Warrior Huntsman is still in pole position, or do you think next week Super Gabu might step up and take it up, even including Joe Williams into that with his 4th place today?
Yeah, I think all of them have now shown their ability. The top two in Warrior and Super Gabu have got one hell of a race next week. It depends where Camiliano finishes as well, whether or not he affects the points in the race that much as well. If he has another race like today, obviously pole last week, winning this week, he's definitely going to be in the mix if he shows the same ability on the track. So
yeah, one final thought before we say goodbye. Driver of the day. Camiliano. Yeah, I think a little bit sideways from your thing. I think I'll have to give my driver of the day to Harvey. Been a very good driver this year, currently 4th in the championship, as we said. Not the greatest of qualifying here, only managing P11, but he's got his way up into the points. I think he finished P6 in the end, so I think based on that, he gets my driver of the day. Yeah, and so with that then, we say goodbye for the penultimate time this year. Next week sees the all-important final round of the CRA, and we take it under the lights in Bahrain. We'll see you there.